The Pulse Club shooting. The Pulse Club shooting occurred in Orlando, Florida in 2016. The Pulse Club was a gay bar in Orlando filled mainly with people of color, as that is the demographic of the area. There were 53 wounded, 50 by gun wounds, and 49 killed. The number of those killed by the shooter is unknown due to the police killing some civilians as well. 49 lives were taken in this tragedy, immensely affecting a number of people, overall America as well. The Pulse Club shooting in Orlando, Florida is known as one of the deadliest mass shootings in history. One of the many African American victims in the club was named Akayla. She had just graduated and went out to celebrate with her cousin and friend. She had big dreams to make a difference in the world, and many harped on her good spirit and kind heart. Tragically, she was shot in the arm by the shooter, trying to help her cousin escape. As the police took over 3.5 hours to enter the building, Akayla, along with many others, continued to bleed out. When the police came in to help, they did not help Akayla. She was breathing, but barely, so they decided that she was not worth saving. So Akayla died in the shooting and was left on the cold and bloody bathroom floor with her family only a few feet away. Akayla was the youngest victim in the Pulse Club shooting. Many of the people inside the club continued to call the police, as they were confused why no one had helped them yet. Also, many called their families to inform them on the situation, preparing them for the worst. So, many of the families called the police as well, but they were simply told that the police were already there, so there was no need to worry. The police were on site almost immediately, following the first shots. However, they entered the building 3.5 hours later, causing for many lives to be lost in that process. When the police finally did enter, they began shooting at the civilians trying to escape, causing for more death and injuries. And as many of the people in the club were hiding in the bathroom, the police thought it was best to blow up the bathroom wall, causing for thousands of shards of plastic glass and debris to go flying into people's faces, limbs, and previous wounds. Charlie Min directed and produced 49 Pulses, which is a documentary on the Pulse Club shooting. This clip is of a police officer being interviewed on the events of the shooting and one of the victim's mothers, as she has many unanswered questions.
And that other entrance to the other dance floor.
So you never even saw the shooter going between the bathrooms?
No, I did not. Never heard him on the phone or verbally. And keep in mind, if he was where he said he was in the bathroom and where I was pretty much on the front entrance of one of the dance floor, and he was all the way toward the back of the other restrooms.
Where do you think the shooter entered?
When I made entry through the patio door, just hearing the casings on the floor as he stepped on them, there were a lot of 223 rounds on the floor. With all the casings that kind of led into the club, that just kind of, makes me believe that he came in through the patio.
How do you think he got those two weapons in?
Keep in mind, Charlie, it's dark, it's crowded. A lot of people are not in the right state of mind, meaning that they're sober. Maybe some are, some weren't. If you are gonna walk in with an assault rifle and a handgun, I mean, seriously, who's gonna stop you?
So you think maybe he caught everyone just off guard? Maybe they're tired?
Definitely a perfect time to come in.
How many bodies were taken out of the dance floor and taken outside, would you say? Between you and others?
Maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6.
Total?
Yeah.
Between you and the other officers?
Yeah.
Are you angry that it took the Orlando police, SWAT, over 3 hours to take down the killer?
Of course I'm angry, because I was a police officer myself for over 10 years, 10.5 years. This is an active shooter. He's killing people. You have to put yourself as a police officer. If you don't want that job, get another job. But as a police officer, you have to put yourself between the victim and the shooter so that you can protect society. You're a protector. You're not a coward, you protect people. When the killer first went in the club, he shot a lot of people up. Went outside, had a shootout in the parking lot. Then they, he ran back in the club, and that's when the cops went in there and started shooting up innocent people who were probably trying to run out of the club. That's what the police chief is saying, that yeah, there are going to be some of the kids in the club that got shot and killed by the police, but it's not going to be the police officer's fault. It's the killer's fault.
There's a possibility that the police may have hit some of the civilians. Do you believe that?
I can't comment on that. I don't know. That officer that's out there, he's a human being. That's a moving target. If we put a handgun in your hand and we tell you to hit this moving target, you got 10 shots. How many times will you hit it? It's hard.
Why are the police acting like they're heroes and they've done such a good job when there's so much glaring incompetence? It's almost like they're doing the opposite by saying how great they were. They're getting the heat off them for what really happened. The medical examiner will verify that some died from non-fatal wounds from bleeding to death.
The community after the shooting was distraught, but they used that anger and passion to unite with one another and empathize with each other. The Hispanic, African American, LGBTQIA, and overall Orlando community came together in order to honor the lives that were lost and to hope for a better future. Unfortunately, the future only proceeded to get worse with regards to the death by mass shootings and gun violence. A recent mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas, has very similar aspects to the Pulse Club. Like the one in Pulse Club, the majority of the victims were Hispanic. Also, the police force in Uvalde waited in the halls of the school while the children were being murdered, similar to the police in Orlando waiting outside while many were being killed. The recurring theme of miscommunication and unpreparedness of the police force continues throughout the increasing amounts of mass shootings today. Thank you.